Hello everybody, Toy Connections here, back with another side-by-side figure comparison. Today I thought I'd go and review the G.I. Joe Classified Cobra Island Firefly with the very similar looking and near identical color scheme Fortnite Havoc made by Jazwares. So one of the reasons I decided to do this was because, during his initial release, and this may be present even today, many people have complained that they had trouble finding the Cobra Island Firefly on their shelves. And some of the questions that popped up was, you know what, they've got this very similar looking figure over in Fortnite. How does it look compared to Firefly? And I thought, hey, I've got both figures. I thought one thing that could really benefit people is to see them side by side. And you know what, I'm just going to grab both figures right now, bring them a little closer to the camera in front of their accessories here. And as you can see, one thing that's pretty obvious is the Firefly is a little bit taller than his Fortnite Havoc counterpart, but the difference in size is not so dramatically terrible that you could say Fortnite Havoc is out of scale. I mean, I had one person comment over on the G.I. Joe Canadian Slaughterhouse page there on Facebook that it looks like, the Fortnite Havoc is somewhere around 5 feet 9 inches tall, and the other classified figures are a little over 6 feet. Looking at this, I generally believe that. And while we have them here, we may as well do some other comparisons here. So there is a comparison height-wise with the Classified Baroness, and there's a comparison height-wise with the Regal version of the Hasbro Pulse Cobra Commander. So as you can see, it's not too dramatically off. Yes, the head is a little smaller on the Jazwares figure, but overall, if you're not super duper finicky about it, it's not too far off. It actually works for many people. So if you like it as an alternative, great. Another thing I'd like to go over here is the size of the box, right? So if you are a box collector, you're going to see that the Fortnite box doesn't, I shouldn't say it doesn't. The size isn't so far off, but the way it's laid out, the deco, the fact that it says Fortnite on it, it doesn't fit as nicely if you do happen to keep a box collection. So just bear that in mind when you do that. So anyway, we'll just launch into each individual figure here in a moment, and let's get right to it. So looking at a very high-level cursory view of how their accessories compare, Firefly comes with this drone device that attaches to his backpack, which also has an explosive device on it, and it just clips onto the back. You'll see there's an opening there for you to clip it on. He comes with what I've read in other places is considered a detonation device. I'm not actually sure if that's what it is, but that's what I read somewhere. He's got what I imagine are night vision goggles, as well as this handgun of sorts, and if you can consider it an accessory, the big vest that he's got on here. So he comes actually with less accessories compared to the Fortnite Havoc, which I'll come back and review here in a second. Looking over at the Fortnite Havoc here, you'll see that he comes with this interesting axe that holds really well in his hand. And unfortunately, I can't say the same as far as his gun is concerned. It doesn't hold nearly as well. I find that, when he was on my shelf, it was very easy to knock him over, and then the gun would fall out of his hand. So unfortunately that would happen, but he does have it, and it does look decent in his hand. He's got this backpack. Unfortunately, the explosives are molded. I mean, the backpack comes off, obviously, but the explosives themselves are molded in, unlike what you get with Firefly's backpack, where the explosives are removable. He's got a couple of small gadgets here, but interestingly enough, he's got a couple of different face scans. So he's got this one here, which I find that the eyes, look a little droopy. They're a little bit more innocent, which I guess is fine because he's meant to be a Fortnite character and not a G.I. Joe character. And this is the sort of unmasked face scan. I found personally that this particular face scan was the most neutral, but he lacks that mean scowl that you would expect in a saboteur, and everything that we've come to know about Firefly being kind of a mean sort of badass dude, whether you know him from the Marvel comic or the Sunbow cartoon or just his bio on the old figures. So does it work? In my mind, it does, but it's a very neutral expression, right? Like, he could almost be a good guy, whereas a bad guy, you kind of want him to have that mean, nasty scowl that I mentioned earlier. So, yeah, is Havoc serviceable? I guess so, at least in my personal opinion. I'll come back with some final thoughts. So just regarding my final remarks here in terms of Classified Firefly versus Fortnite Havoc, it just comes down to, does it work for your collection? Some people have a lot of OCD. They must have the Cobra Island Firefly no matter how hard it is to find. And who knows, they may do future releases that are easier to find, but at the time of this video, he's not as easy to come by. As far as the Fortnite one is concerned, you know, if you can get over the accessories and the fact that they're meant for the Fortnite game and not for G.I. Joe, you know, you pretty much can just put the, you know, the backpack on his back. But again, those explosives are very video game-ish, you know. I mean, you look, even the missile has a bit of a smile on it, but the gun will work in his hand. As for Firefly himself, a lot of people really like the drone. They like the explosives. Everything about it screams Firefly right down to the accessories. Whereas this is sort of, you know, a serviceable stand-in with the weapon. Does it work? For me, it did. I purchased Fortnite Firefly about 1.5 years before I got the G.I. Joe Classified Firefly. And for me, it was totally fine. If I had never run into the Cobra Island Classified version, I'd have been okay with it, just because I look at it, it scales decently, the color scheme is fine, the main weapon is fine, the neutral expression works for me, but everyone is different. Some people are huge fans of Firefly. They would have way too much detail-oriented OCD, and they would just say, no, there's no way that's a classified figure. I wasn't quite at that point, but I've known some people who are. So I guess the overall conclusion is, make your own judgment. Does it work for you? Does it not? Seeing them side by side here hopefully helps you a little bit in terms of your decision making and overall understanding of the comparisons between the two figures. So anyway, I'll bid you guys further ado, and I'll see you guys next time with some more toy content.